Call the meeting to order. Proper quorum has been determined. Ask for approval of minutes from January 28, 2014.
Wish to accept the minutes as submitted.
Have a motion to accept as submitted. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. First, we're going to have old business, site plan, auto house, proposed auto dealership, 1.47 acres, property located at 5400 Murfreesboro Road, tax map 18 Alpha, Group Alpha, parcel 35, C2 Highway Service Commercial Zoning District, property owned by Leonard Sadler. Ms. Costanza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had 7 items from the workshop that needed to be addressed, mostly dealing with the grading and drainage. Those have all been addressed to staff's satisfaction, and I do have a detail of the sign that will be placed on Murfreesboro Road. So at this time, all technical items have been addressed.
With that, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
I have a motion to accept as submitted. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have a site plan, AT&T proposed new cellular tower at Hickory Woods, 2.84 acres, property located at Murfreesboro Road and Madison Square Boulevard, tax map 15, parcel 2.13, C4 Neighborhood Commercial Zoning District, property owned by Mark A. Purtle. Ms. Costanzo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have worked with the staff present to address all of the 8 issues that we had from the January meeting. And at this time, all technical items have been addressed, including both the drainage and the access. I do have a detail of the fence that they will be utilizing. So they will not be using the chain link. They'll be using a buff tag vinyl, and that is a close-up of the landscape buffer. So they have worked with us closely to address all the items, and we are satisfied as of tonight.
All right, do I hear a motion?
All the technical items have been addressed. Make a motion to accept as submitted.
I have a motion to accept as submitted. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have a site plan, new business. We have a site plan. Mickey Mitchell, proposed trailer parking, 25.95 acres, property located at 125 International Boulevard, tax map 17, parcel 2.12 and 5.01, I-2 zoning district, property owned by Mickey Mitchell. Ms. Costanzo.
Mr. Chairman, I have conferred with the engineer for this site plan, and they have decided to defer this item.
Item is deferred. Next, we have a recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, rezoning requests, Steve Reeves and Kevin Elnicki of Earth Waste System, currently zoned District I-1, proposed zoning District I-3, 29.20 acres, property located at 444 Dick Buchanan Street, tax map 14, parcel 70, property owned by Metromont Pre-Stress Company. Ms. Costanzo.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, at the workshop, I presented this item for discussion. I don't really have his information. And, of course, we know that this was the former home of Metromont, and it's in an extremely industrial state. It would be rather well suited to the proposed land use activity, since it has been vacant for a long period of time, and they have indicated that they would like to utilize the structures on site. At this time, within a roughly 500-foot radius, there's about 20 properties that will be affected, half of which are residential and half of which are either heavy or light industrial. So there is I-3 zoning directly to the north of this parcel, so a rezoning would not constitute spot zoning. The sign has been up now for about 3 to 4 weeks, indicating that a rezoning has been requested, and I have received one phone call from the property owner across the street, and he simply just wanted to know what the subject of the application was. The owners also are aware that if they were to have the property rezoned, they would have to put in a buffer, a 50-foot transitional buffer here, because we do have some vacant residential land over this in this direction. And they are also aware that should this move forward, it's a very long process to get it rezoned and then actually get a site plan approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals and then the BOMA. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to discuss them
How
for
much
you.
acreage is between this property and that big residential behind it?
It's about 800 feet from a rough measurement from the aerial view that I did. Yeah, so if we've got, it's about 800 feet to George Thomas. And of course, we've got, we do have some residential right here on New View as well. And Metromont's been here, I think, since the late 60s, early 70s. And it's been vacant, I think, for 3 or 4 years, from what I've been told.
But still in an I-1 industrial, there's still several things that could be and prosper there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Does, on 2 of 2 of your application, request application, does he need to sign that?
In your packet, there is an application, well, there's an email from the owner of the property and an email from the owner of the business up in Vermont indicating that he was authorized to make application for this.
And the way I understand it is, if this does move forward, they still have to go to BOZA to get the special exception.
It would have to, correct, it would have to go first it goes from the Planning Commission, favorable or unfavorable, to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for 2 readings and a public hearing. Okay. Then they would have to apply to the Board of Zoning Appeals, which would, again, give it a favorable or unfavorable, which would then go back to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen in the same way that an ordinance does, and they would have to look at the site plan and the request for 2 readings and a public hearing again. So we're looking at 6 or 7 months maybe.
Mr. Chairman, we discussed at the workshop. Number 1 is we do need to get the applicant to sign it. It is a legal document. I think we need to have that in hand. But after that, I'll make a motion of favourable recommendation to the Mayor and Alderman for the rezoning.
I have a recommendation, for a favorable recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No.
I'm going to have to abstain, sir.
Okay, we're going to have to call.
Aye.
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 Aye. Abstain.
No.
Okay. Did you get that? Okay, motion carries. Kristen, the chairman voted aye.
Yes, sir.
If we could, let's fax it and get him to sign that.
Certainly.
Second sheet. Next, we have bonds and letters of credit.
Mr. Chairman, everyone should have the bond sheet in front of them. Pretty much everything is signed from the workshop. And I'm continuing to work with the developer on the Air Park subdivision to get that one extended, so that's the only one that's coming up due.
Are there any questions from the board members?
Well, I just got one question. What about the maintenance bond at Nacarado?
Maintenance bond at Nacarado will expire on March 5th, and that will expire then. Have not received, I have sent out an email to the streets, water, sewer, and, you know, other departments just to make sure if anybody's got any issues to let me know, and haven't heard. I've heard back from them with no issues so far, so as long as everything stays no issues before the 5th, then it'll expire on the 5th.
We stand adjourned.